Welcome to the AV Huddle, the place for AV professionals to get the latest news, updates and stories from the leading commercial manufacturers and suppliers. Hear from end users while we dive into new technology, business strategy and innovative ways AV is shaping the sector. Let's jump into the Huddle.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So my name is Mitesh from AVM Solutions, and on today's episode, we have Nick from Barco. Good afternoon, Nick. How you doing?
Yeah, hi there, Mitesh. I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I just realised it's morning, actually, not afternoon. I'm losing track of day and time.
We wish it was afternoon, didn't we?
Yeah, probably did. Yeah, hopefully the sun comes back out again. So Nick, but I guess there's a lot going on in the industry, but for our viewers and listeners, it'd be great to give us an insight, a little bit about yourself, what you do, and a little bit about the division you work in and Barco itself, really. So take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Nick White. Been at Barco since December of last year, and I was brought on board to head up the LX, so our learning division within Barco for the UK and Ireland. This incorporates a couple of our product sets. We connect, we present, but the way things are going with COVID-19, we're seeing that we connect is now driving thoughts and ideas, with our customers on how they're going to teach and train moving forward, and obviously in these difficult times. So We Connect is a software-based solution that enables not just education. It was initially built around education, but it's allowing learners, teachers to deliver sessions to students regardless of the COVID situation. Students and learners can be at home and they can actually teach using our software. It's like some of the other solutions we're using Teams at the moment, which is more of a meeting solution. Ours is a dedicated learning solution, which encourages engagement, increases the learning percentage. Students will learn more, they'll be more engaged, and we do that via a series of quizzes and polls and open, close, private questions, stuff like that as well. So as I said, software-based solution, which can be tailored to fit various room scenarios as well. So you can have an in-room collaboration room, collaborative conference center, for instance, in a corporate space, or even through to like a virtual teaching environment, similar to obviously what we're doing now, but on a large scale, where you have a series of screens and you see the whites of your student's eyes, and you could be in a live studio, microphoned up, that kind of thing, really. So Barco itself, Barco is a huge organisation. Most people know Barco from their number one product, ClickShare. ClickShare is a USB dongle that you plug into your laptop, and it allows collaboration, wireless collaboration with the display. As soon as you mention Barco, everyone says, "Oh yeah, ClickShare." Yeah, I know ClickShare. So
Right.
We're trying to get We Connect on par with that and shout about it, and say stuff like this that we're doing today is obviously only going to help us moving forward. So yeah, appreciate for the invite.
Okay, brilliant. So I guess Barco's a huge company, lots of stuff going on, but your focus is mainly on this WeConnect software platform aimed at students, universities, educational sector. So how are you finding that at the moment then? Because obviously COVID's had a big impact with schools and universities. So, obviously it must have had a big impact to your business, especially. So, how's that been? What's it been like?
Yeah, it's interesting the fact that when we first went into lockdown, it went crazy. Emails, telephone calls were coming in, and there was, I need a price for this and I need a price for that. And then when schools did actually close and businesses started closing, it kind of went quite slowly, and now they're kind of seeing a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. It's gone crazy again. But it's that kind of space in between has allowed businesses and schools, colleges to kind of evaluate how they're going to deliver their training in the future. And this is kind of one of the solutions out there on the market that's going to help that, and push that forward, really. So, as I say, with regards to the actual software itself, it was initially designed around KV Leuven, which is a university in Belgium, which is obviously where our head office is, and it's been developed slowly to where it is today.
Right.
But as it's software, it's continually growing, and we can change it to fit certain requirements. So yes, it was originally designed for the education space, but what we're seeing as well is, especially through COVID, is that learning and development managers in the corporate space are also in that same predicament of how they're going to train their staff, or their customers to meet certain demands. And it's now, say, it's kind of come full circle again at the back end of this lockdown as we start easing out of it to being really, really busy.
Yeah.
which is good. I'm a one-man show in the UK for Connect. Hopefully we get busy enough that we start employing a few more people, but there's a lot of support team that are based, some in Belgium, some in Holland. We've got a team in the States as well, and we sell through a series of partners in the UK that we train, so they can deliver and support the solution as well. So although I'm a one-man band for Barco, the actual on the sales side of things, the whole support team and everything else, across the brand is huge.
Yeah. So do you think this is like the future then? I know COVID's impact businesses, but some businesses it's a short term, but others they see this as a way of life going forward. So let's say everybody starts getting back into face-to-face contact at schools and universities. Where do you see the future now for kind of remote learning?
Yeah. I don't see it going back to normality for some time yet. There has to be a reduced number of students or in the classroom, so they're going to have to do that kind of a hybrid style. You have some at home, some in the classroom, that kind of thing. Whether the lecturer is actually going to be in the classroom at the same time, again, we've got options for them to have a remote lecturer, remote host situations as well. So it's going to be interesting. I think everyone's going to be different on how they do it, how they perceive the guidelines and what they actually do. But typically one teacher can train up to 30 people in a classroom environment. With We Connect, it's unlimited. It depends on the space that you've got to actually deliver a session. But in a small virtual classroom, you can train up to 60 people in a space that probably, if you had if it was classroom based, it'd probably be about 100. You need if you could train 60 people, probably you'd be able to train about 10 people in a room of that size. So it's reaching out to more people, but using kind of a smaller space to actually do that. Well. But that's how it's going to be, because I'm talking to quite a few universities where they're not expecting all their students to come back in. They want to reduce their carbon footprint as well, so they don't want as many students coming into the space, as well as obviously the whole COVID situation as well. So it's got multiple kind of solutions built into it that's going to help not just education, but the corporate space as well. We're talking to some real high-end corporate customers for this as well, and they're seeing this as a real kind of next level to a Teams or a Zoom kind of solution. And the thing around it all is all around the engagement and the retention of the message that the trainer's trying to give, and we're trying to keep it fun, and rather than having it kind of one-on-one, it's a group session. And everyone listens in and partakes. We encourage the camera to be on. We encourage the microphones to be on. You might get dogs or barking in the background or babies crying in the background. But, that's part of what's going to happen and how it's going to be moving forward. Obviously, you don't get them distractions in the classroom. But, we're going to get them, and we have to kind of build it into it as well. But I think it's going to be the norm moving forward.
I think some of the things you said there makes perfect sense. So, I guess it will never replace face to face, but it's got so many advantages of reaching a wider audience, people from different cities. You can train people who probably would have never been able to access your knowledge or education. So I think it's got loads of benefits actually when you think about it. And I guess a lot of people have seen that through current video conferencing technologies at the moment. I think I've heard stories of people connecting with cities that they would have never connected with previously because of the technology that's there. So it sounds quite amazing, especially with international students or international staff and colleagues.
Yes.
I think there's loads of advantages there. And I guess, so what makes it so unique compared to a traditional kind of video call? I know you said it's geared and it's got feedback, but if anybody's listening to this who's from a education or even a corporate background and they want to educate their staff, colleagues, whoever you call it, what is it that makes it different and unique then?
Yes, I think the whole uniqueness of We Connect is all around the interactivity and the engagement, and it's kind of replicating a real classroom scenario where everybody's in the front row. As the classroom fills up, it generally fills up from the back. So you get the volunteers to sit at the back, and then you get the attentive ones to sit at the front. With the virtual classroom, it doesn't allow that. It allows everyone on the front row, and we encourage the screens and the number of students per display to be kind of life size as well. So you can actually see the whites of their eyes, and actually you can, as you're talking to someone, you can actually just see whether they understand or not.
Right. Okay.
On a smaller scale, I'm on this call at the moment, I can see myself in the bottom left hand corner of the display. But if that was a WeConnect virtual classroom, you'd see me live. You'd see shoulders and head up, and you'll see what I was understanding. We ask engaging questions, and that can be like for a series of polls or quizzes and stuff like that as well. But there's also the silent questions. So if I don't actually understand, some people at school when they're learning, if they don't understand, they might be too afraid to put their hand up and make themselves, feel inferior to other people that are excelling, doing really well. So you can actually ask a private question.
Right.
The teacher can say, well, I can clearly see that not everyone's getting it at the moment, so I just want to reiterate what I've been saying, make sure that everyone understands. They don't have to pick out that person and say, I can see that Mitesh, you don't understand. We don't have to name names. We keep it simple, so everyone fully engaged and understands it that way as well. So there's a few things that are slightly different. It's the sheer size of where WeConnect can go to. It can be absolutely huge. There's kind of no limits to it. It's solely dependent on how many students one teacher is happy to kind of teach and be able to monitor and control. We can have a 360 classroom, with one lecturer, mic'd up, and actually, he won't be able to see everyone, unless he actually turns around. But that's when we can actually build in the audio, and we can have actually directional audio. So if we can hear someone talking over here, we can actually then turn around and talk to them. And as we talk through the camera, it's like we're looking into their eyes. Face-to-face engagement. So as I say, it's we are getting compared to other solutions on the market that we're using on a daily basis.
Sure.
But it's on a whole new level.
Wow. Okay. It
sounds more about the engagement, and it's there's stats and figures that that show that if you do this kind of teaching, you'll retain more of that information, and that's what we're building it on.
Okay. Now that sounds really interesting, because I think naturally people forget that it's not just a video call. It's more to it. And as I think a key word there you mentioned a lot is engagement. And I think that's quite powerful, because you need to really be making sure the message is getting clear. And I think doing the testing and the quizzing really helps with that. And I think having the ability to see the people closely also gives you that feedback, that visual feedback. So it sounds good. And I think, again, you wouldn't have this project if there wasn't a need for it. And clearly there's a need for it in the market for this. And I think COVID and remote working has just kind of accelerated that process, and in terms of technology as well going forward.
We find that most customers are starting quite small with a small virtual classroom. They might start at 12 or 24 seat classroom, for instance. And then as they kind of get used to it and they feel comfortable using the solution, they want to bring more people in. It's so scalable. It's a case of adding a couple of screens and a couple of our nooks. Hotel nooks, and then all of a sudden you can actually build up into a 48 to a 60 to 100, 112 seat virtual classroom. All of a sudden you're teaching to a lot of people, regardless of where they are in the world. So you can have an assistant in the classroom as well. So as the lecturer or the trainer, solely concentrate on training. But using the interface that we've got, we can have someone that's actually controlling, what view, or what camera view, or camera stream all of the attendees actually see. So I might be having a discussion like we are now, where I'm not actually talking about anything that's actually on the software, so they need to see me. But then all of a sudden I might want to talk about something on a different stream. Then I have to then press a button on my tablet to actually change that stream. And they obviously go back into the meeting. I'm fine with that. I've been doing it. Obviously, I'll use the solution. As a new teacher doing it, it might be a distraction. They might think, what do we do now? And then it kind of messes with the flow of their session. So ultimately, you can have someone else kind of sitting in the background and actually just controlling the whole of that meeting. And all they have to do is deliver their message into that session as well. It's really, really powerful, really powerful. And it's definitely. You mentioned, is it the future? It's the now. Hopefully it's the ongoing future. I mean, people continue to go down this route. The good thing about WeConnect, and not just WeConnect, but some of the the other solutions out there, it's software based. And as we learn ourselves, we can build and enhance the solution. And we're working with some real high-end universities, not just in the UK, but across in America and across Europe as well, to actually develop this thing. And we're learning with them. And as they develop a requirement, we can build that into the software to help their needs and stuff like that as well. So won't mention any names, but some real we've just done a big install over in the States at the moment, where they're asking for certain things that are not currently in the solution.
Right.
We're saying, we can do that, and it's it's that scalable, that manageable for us to be able to upgrade the solution. And we're doing it probably every every couple of months. It's
Okay.
getting better and better and more suited to more people's needs and requirements. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess from somebody who's a user of this system, then obviously you work with a lot of different, I guess, different tiers, different levels, as you mentioned, large educational, companies out there, and obviously the smaller ones. So what do you see the trend being at the moment from an educational point of view? So let's say I'm an educator, I'm either corporate or a university or a user. What could you tell me that's going to help me with what I'm trying to achieve going forward in terms of the trends and the way things are happening? Because obviously you see a lot of this. So what would be your suggestion to me in terms of what's going on?
Yeah, so we are getting loads and loads of kind of questions and opportunities, all based around like the hybrid classroom. They don't envisage that nobody will come into the classroom, but they obviously don't envisage that everyone will come into the classroom. So they need somewhere in between.
Right.
Hybrid solution for customers, for unis at the moment is going to be the way forward. I think limited number of students in the classroom, maybe on a rotation ultimately, where they come into the classroom one day and then they're virtual the next, that kind of thing. But they keep the numbers low, they keep the distance, in the classroom as well. But they can also bring in the students from outside on a series of screens. So that might be lecture at the front of the classroom with a whiteboard or a presentation board or whatever they're using behind them. And then they have a wall of students on a screen behind them with all the other in-room students kind of in front of them as well.
Okay. Yeah.
They get the same view of the lecture, but they kind of get their own view because they have their own camera view, so where they are.
Yes. Yeah.
Space they have as well. And then it's a case of using our interface to actually mix up the in-room and the students that are out of their homes or wherever they are, ultimately, to all have that same experience. And that's what we're seeing at the moment. Yes, there's business out there that purely just going completely virtual.
Yeah.
But the real thing is the whole hybrid space at the moment, and that's what we're seeing. So.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I'd never thought of that, but that's a really good kind of blend of technologies and education and how people behave, I think. So it's a good way of bringing that together going forward.
Yeah,
okay.
Typically, you'd expect 30 students in the classroom to one.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that anymore. You might get 10. With social distancing. So you then need a 20-seat virtual classroom to allow all the other students in as well. So I think that's what we're going to see more and more. That's what we're currently working on at the moment. There's various quotes and offers going out at the moment for that through Uniqueness. So that's the kind of thing. So watch your space with hybrid rooms.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. That's really interesting. So I guess just to wrap this up, really, if somebody wants to get in touch with you or learn more about, the solutions you've got that can really help people communicate better, especially from an educational point of view, what's the best way of somebody getting in touch with you?
Yes, I mean, email address is nick.white@barco.com. Fairly straightforward, as well. You can go onto the Barco website, barco.com, and you can look at the Uniqueness solution, and my details will be on there as well. I'm on LinkedIn and all the social media elements as well. I'm always so I'm in the UK, cover the UK and Ireland, so it can be anywhere I need to be within reason, obviously with COVID-19 ultimately. But I'm as we start to kind of come out of the whole lockdown officially on the work front, if there's requirements, if there's conversations, if there's meetings that need to be had, then just get in touch.
Cool. And one last question. So were you one of these kids that sat at the back of the room or the front of the room?
One of these kids that very rarely went to the room. Unless it was PE, art or maths.
Yeah.
On the other days I wasn't there.
No.
Definitely the back of the room.
Back of the room kid. No problem. So Nick, no, thank you very much for kind of being on this podcast with us. It's great having you on. It's great to actually learn about new technology and new development and how I think a lot of people miss that most of these solutions were there pre-COVID anyway, but COVID's kind of accelerated things. But ultimately, there are solutions out there that are bespoke, specific, and can actually help with better communication, saving time, potentially saving costs, depending on what it is that you're after. And it's great to know that there's actually bespoke solutions out there. So thank you very much, Nick, on being on this.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you. Thanks for taking.
Cool. We'll catch up soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening to the AV Huddle. Don't forget to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to get the latest AV updates. AV Huddle, powered by AVM Solutions.